Hey guys, I have a Patreon and YouTube memberships now, links are in the description. Post Halo 5 launch, Halo fans were eagerly waiting for the next installment of the Halo franchise. This bunch of unlimited patience would finally get teased Halo Infinite in 2018 in a shiny, new trailer. And after the release date of 2020 got pushed back several months, the multiplayer beta for Halo Infinite finally released.
What, how did theirs not die? Okay, he died. We're good.
Should I rock the Pepsi skin? That does not look how it's supposed to look.
Yeah,
Vegas.
Oh
Vegas.
God.
He's
I'm always
infected.
ready.
Yo!
Alright.
November 15th, 2021. This was the rumored early release date for Halo Infinite's multiplayer in celebration of Halo CE's 20th anniversary. A year ago today, the latest Halo franchise title's multiplayer would become available to players across PC and Xbox. What followed was perhaps one of the largest turnouts to ever grace Halo's servers. Then, the following rapid downfall of Halo Infinite, and then the struggling rebuilding phase that has attempted to stop the bleeding. This game has been an emotional roller coaster for sure. I've had ups, I've had downs, and the rest of the community has too. The Infinite multiplayer beta released with much fanfare, and Infinite saw insanely positive reception. What once was thought as a dead franchise that had no place in modern gaming completely clapped its competitors. Battlefield 2042 and Call of Duty Vanguard were effectively blasted to irrelevance by Halo Infinite. While Infinite had a solid offering at launch, it wasn't exactly a tough fight to beat out Activision and EA's entries in the FPS genre, as they were pretty mediocre. It was a shoo-in. Halo was back, baby. Halo Infinite was designed as a reboot to the Halo franchise. Classic settings similar to Halo 3, including deployable equipment, would make a return, along with Sprint, which offers a very small speed boost, which appeals to most Halo fans both new and old. The content for Infinite was announced to be released within a live service model. Halo went free to play. The game design of Halo Infinite was tight. The gameplay itself was almost perfectly refined. It is perhaps my favorite Halo gameplay-wise. New banished weapons would appear, including the Mangler, shock rifle, and more, all of which flushed out the character of Infinite by offering some unique weapons that had functionality that hadn't been fully seen before. The shotgun was replaced, and we received all three Forerunner weapons to mix up the sandbox further. The chopper also returned for the first time in years.
Oh, that's
What on earth?
And a new vehicle, the Razorback, would take a similar form to the Troop Hog from Halo 3 and Reach, and it became the ultimate team play vehicle. Power weapons, flags, and power seats could be loaded in the back of the Razorback, and 3 teammates could hitch a ride in all of the extra seats. Freeloaders. The Halo Infinite flights led to bug fixes and balance changes, along with the release of Infinite's first season. Season 1 was when Infinite's live service began, and offered nostalgic Halo Reach cosmetics. This season was broken up into only 3 playlists: Quick Play, Big Team Battle, and Ranked Arenas. Yes, a dismal amount of playlists, but thankfully Team Slayer would arrive within the first few weeks, because thankfully the UI would allow it. Additionally, the Fracture Tenrai event would launch, offering samurai-themed cosmetics available for unlock through the absolute garbage Fiesta playlist. I hate that thing. I played that thing way too much. As for maps, Halo Infinite launched with 10 original maps, and those consist of 6 arena maps, 3 big team maps, and 1 dumpster fire map. Game mode selection took after the playlist selection, as it was fairly bare bones as well. Many fan favorite modes were not included at launch. Some of the modes were weak sauce, including Power Seeds, also known as the Leave Match button. Custom games was also very bugged. Career progression was very sluggish, as there was no way to earn XP outside of challenges, and consequentially, the grind became dreadful. It took me about a week to get to level 5 on the battle pass. It was slow back then, like unbelievably slow. This issue would quickly be addressed though, with the addition of daily match challenges, where players would receive loads of XP for their first matches each day. They'd receive at least like 400 or 500 the first match, then 300 or so, then it would decrease until it reached 50 per match. At launch, Infinite was pretty sparing with the content it gave to its players. It held a lot back, which is very unfortunate. Progression and gameplay options were very limited, and bugs and desync plagued the gameplay. Despite all of this bad stuff, I was over the moon for Halo Infinite. I recall arguing to my friends that Infinite was perhaps the 2nd or 3rd best Halo game of all time, and I wasn't alone either. The surprise launch of Infinite's multiplayer saw a massive surge in interest in Halo. Over 200,000 players on Steam logged on, with countless more on Xbox. Infinite, despite the early flaws in the beta, was set to be a very popular live service product that could compete with Apex Legends and Fortnite. Microsoft released a statement saying that 20 million players logged on to Halo Infinite in the first week. Reception among fans was also very positive, as the return to the classic art style and gameplay was not just very welcome and appreciated, but it worked fantastic in the modern age, especially with the additions to the sandbox they provided. Also, the assault rifle was insanely overpowered, which is perhaps for the best to allow new players to ease into Halo's game design more effectively. Regardless, all in all, a solid beta, and campaign release was just around the corner. It started to become obvious that due to the slow rollout of content updates for Infinite, that there was some serious tech debt and a lot of development troubles going on behind the scenes. Necessary bug fixes were released sparingly, and as winter of 2021 began, Big Team Battle went completely offline. For weeks, nothing could be done as 343 went on holiday for Christmas season, and fans everywhere attempted to pass a bill in Congress to make Christmas a non-federal holiday. This effort failed, however. The player base practically began to fall off a cliff due to the lack of social modes. All that remained were sweaty palms and broken controllers in the crack-addicted battle rifle arenas of the Ranked playlist. Ranked was no joke. Anytime I went into Ranked, you better believe I came out a changed man. And sadly, for those who don't like sweat fests, a proper fix for Big Team Battle wouldn't arrive until midway through January. It took around a month and a half to get BTB back online. Free-for-all playlists, challenge updates to remove challenges that encouraged poor performance, and some slight custom games tweaks would arrive to attempt to apply a Hello Kitty band-aid on this bullet wound. But Halo really began to turn the bad news around as Campaign would release around this time. Campaign and Halo Infinite obtained a pretty positive reception. Me personally, I really liked the campaign. Following this, the Winter Contingency event dropped to become Halo Infinite's first Christmas celebration. New modes, such as Attrition and SWAT, would be added to the roster in the Cyber Showdown and Tactical Ops events, along with a few event passes full of free cosmetics. Store prices began reducing after they received backlash as well. Despite all these additions, they came very slowly and sparingly throughout the months, and honestly, if you ask me, I was starting to get a little bored with Infinite. Around the time of these relatively minor updates, Season 2 was announced to be delayed along with campaign co-op and Forge, leading to a minor media firestorm within the Halo community. This is when I began to get a little worried for Infinite and actually dislike it. Season 2 launched in summer 2021. The Lone Wolves update was 3 months late. 2 new maps were dropped. Last Spartan Standing was the highlight mode for this event. It was fairly similar to a Battle Royale type mode, and actually I kinda like that mode, I kinda miss it. They ended up removing it halfway through Season 2. More modes would drop and build little to no interest as they were largely uninteresting. They weren't what the fans wanted. A new 6-week Fracture event, Entrenched, began as well. This event offered World War I and World War II inspired Spartan cosmetics that, I don't know, some looked cool, but some kinda looked jank, if you ask me. And eventually, a Scuffed Team Snipers playlist would be introduced, which sparked tons of controversy due to 343 implementing non-snipers in the playlist. I'm looking at you, Cubby Snipes. As players continued to leave this buggy hellhole of a shooter, 343 attempted to patch up the game with so-called drop pods, which would serve as small updates and bug fixes, or as other game devs call them, Day 1 patches. None of these drop pods target any of the major issues, such as desync, server-side issues, and performance issues, and honestly, I kind of feel like Microsoft is more to blame about the servers, but we don't know who's to blame actually, and these drop pods were announced for release on a monthly basis. After 2 drop pods brought small but welcome improvements to the game, they stopped dropping completely and 343 went silent. As Season 2 began to become stale for what was left of the dwindling player base, the worst possible outcome would hit Halo Infinite. Season 3, along with Forage and Campaign Co-op, was delayed again for another 3 months. In its place, the winter update would be launched to hastily bring campaign co-op, Forage, and a few other features to the game. Split-screen campaign co-op was also cut at this time. And wow, that made people angry. It's not Season 3, no. But the winter update provided the biggest Forge mode yet. The file share system, co-op campaign, minus the split screen, covert one flag, and all new Halo Reach cosmetics. Wow, how original. Hit Infinite perhaps too late, yet just in the nick of time to stop the bleeding. The Forge mode, along with the new Match XP system, we're stuck to a beta label. No matter, at least we got it. You know, we could have just gotten the challenge system. Honestly, at this point, I'm surprised we're getting anything. However, this update has been the biggest W for Halo Infinite. Hopefully, it will be the beginning of an upward trend. The new Forge tool is not only the most powerful and flexible we've gotten, despite all the crashing and bugs, the customs is some of the most fun I've actually had on stream and in Halo, perhaps ever. Despite this, the game, a year post-launch, is still not complete, and is very much an unfinished product to this day. I look forward to seeing it fully polished and finished. I like Halo again, but it still pisses me off from time to time. Some are saying Halo is saved by the winter update. I'm apprehensive, and wins have been very few and far between since Halo 4. Perhaps the new management has what it takes to turn this mess completely around, as this update has somewhat sparked interest back in the game, where 10,000 active players on Steam have been achieved once again. The number is low, don't get me wrong, but perhaps we will see it climb further when the game is complete. This is wishful thinking, but I can dream surely. Just let me dream for a minute. Despite all the disappointment, gut punches, and delays, I've enjoyed Halo as much as I could with y'all, and I'm glad y'all have all been here to experience it with me. Happy birthday, Halo Infinite. Stay tuned for more Halo mods, Forge, and commentaries. Like and sub, and thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the custom games lobbies if y'all are willing to fight through the desync and crashes with me.